Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Connect. Of course, this is Spectrum Television and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Like you well know, Connect is our family live show where we bring you conversations on everything pertaining to relationships. You know, like I like to say it, whether it's papa, mama, pikin, or man, woman, anyhow you turn it around, we're here to have these conversations just to help you navigate relationships in the 21st century. Of course, my name is Uyai Anyeka and it's such a great delight to be here again this evening. I'd like for you to follow us across all social media platforms so that you do not lose the very juicy part of this conversation. But like you know, I never come to the table alone. I always come with very gorgeous women, very intellectual, men and all of those things. And we always spew wisdom. You know when we say in Nigeria, wisdom, don't leave me. That's what we're here to do today. Of course, what will we be talking about today? Serious matters on the table. Defining relationships and handling commitment phobia. There's a trending video of the week. We have 2 trending videos of the week that we are going to take, and myself and my women will be dissecting these videos and talking about them around the borders of these issues. Joining us this evening to have the Connect conversation, we have St. Morgan, who is a gospel artist, and of course she's a graphic designer herself and is a very, very huge relationship enthusiast. Hence, she's on the Connect table this evening. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Also joining us this evening for this superlative conversation is Ediami Edet. Of course, she is a content creator and a serial entrepreneur who does lots of amazing things. Of course, she's here to have this conversation. You know, all of us, we're making money from content creating now, and imagine all the things we say on our content. So yes, relationship enthusiast and content creator herself, Ediami, good to have you on the show this evening.
Good to have you, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about relationships, creating boundaries in our relationships, defining our relationships, and handling when we are big girls like this and big boys like this. But oh yeah, Oga, what are we doing in this relationship? It turns to a fight. So we're going to take a look at this particular video that was done by the actress Juliana. Of course, she was calling out all the men who refused to be committed in relationships. Alas, she was calling them immature. Why wouldn't you define a relationship and why are you afraid of committing?
Oh, Gordy. Eh? Please, I once asked all the brothers, all the men one question. Why is it that some men, when you ask them, what are we doing? What do you want? Some mama say bonku bonku. That's when you will start to do bonku bonku. But you will be saying, dear, darling, sugar, honey, sweetie pie, send the heart emoji, send the love struck emoji. Then when they say define this relationship, make it smooth, sorrow, but you are acting in some ways that is suggesting, but you have not talked. Then when the lady now say, okay, what do you really want? Let's define this relationship. You will be angry. That is very immature. Very immature. Very, very immature. Sure of you. I was looking for somebody that can be playing around the bush with you. Oh, already likes he settle down. Oh, already likes the commitment. Yeah? You are not ready for commitment. What are you ready for? To be beating around the bush, to be merry-go-rounding around at your age. Like a kiddies. You just ask them to define the relationship. They just get really angry, or they start to make you feel like you are the one asking for something. You are the one overthinking their niceness. But bro, why don't you just want to define? Oh, we're just friends. Then that's cool. Oh, I like you. Is there another way you want to be asked about, what the relationship is about? Like,
what are your thoughts? Let me start with you, Eddie. What are your thoughts with regards to this particular video?
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again, Uyai. But looking at this video, I already know that this is the height of immaturity before I could even get to the end where she said that is immature. Because anyone who is afraid of commitment, maturity is not about age. maturity is not how old you are. Maturity is in your sense of belonging, in how you see yourself. Maturity is how you express yourself, and definitely how you handle situations. So I feel no matter how old you are as a person, no matter how old your age is as a person, if you're afraid of commitments, definitely you are not mature enough.
So is there a problem if, you know, you are relating with a guy? Like my late pastor used to say, he will call you in the morning, he will call you in the night. 2 months straight, you are talking, hello darling, how are you? Have you eaten? Have you slept? You know, and then you finally ask, say, hello bro, like Juliana said, what are we doing? Let's define this relationship, because this is what we want to talk about. Is it okay for a lady to actually say, you know, call a guy who's been in her space for so long to ask, what exactly are we doing here?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is one thing ladies should learn to do. You cannot just be in a relationship and then you don't know where you're going. Okay? Like, for example, if you're traveling, you're definitely going to know where your destination is. And so you can call your guy, or whether it was a casual relationship,
Whoever is canopying you.
yeah, you can actually ask him, you know, call him for a dialogue and ask him, what are we doing? Where are we going? You know, for you to hear, not to imagine things, not to try to, you know, put words in his mouth. Let him be the one actually defining what he wants. I think it's the best thing for any woman to do.
So instead of just, you know, assuming where our relationship is
Okay,
heading.
I'd like to hide from what she
Absolutely.
said. Yeah. Well, it's proper, well, but I think it's actually not every man. No matter how close you are to a man, the relationship, you as a person should be able to tell this person is not willing to be committed to me. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, because there's so many signs that are out there. Like I feel it's actually embarrassing for you to actually know that this person is not heading the same direction with you, and then you go ahead to ask these questions. For us, I feel, yeah, there's a direction that somebody goes actually, and you already know that this person is actually not heading where you're going. So I feel it's actually also mature on the side of the lady. Like, you know, this person is actually not going your way. I feel, okay, you should just walk away from some stuff you think, you understand, is not your direction. But when there's that need for you to ask, assuming the person is in a very close mark relationship with you, and then you can't simply tell what exactly that person is doing, then I think it's pertinent for you to ask these questions, because they are very important.
Very important, because like the video we watched, you know, Juliana was saying this person is giving you the vibes, you know, they're doing you all the boyfriend stuff, they're doing you all the fiancé stuff, you know, but yet nobody has said, okay, we are dating, or we are not dating. What exactly are we doing? So I think, you know, that's the conversation we are trying to have. Is it okay when we've related for a while? And I think the next question should actually be, when do you think that is okay to actually say, okay, what is this about? Is it in the first month? Is it the second month? Do we wait 6 months to 1 year? What exactly, you know? So you were going to say something.
Yes, I was about saying something. Okay, in regards to what she said about red flags. You know, men can be very, very funny, you know. Most times a man will come to you and will give you all the attention, will give you, call you, take care of you, take you out, always all over you, but deep within him, he's not ready for commitment.
He got no plans.
Okay, so he can keep you for 1 year, 2 years doing that, and at some point, living in assumption, it's really bad. So at some point, you need to ask. You need to ask him, what is our destination in this relationship for me?
But is it not how, is that not where a lot of guys define ladies as desperate? Because at that point, you would have some guys saying, hey, she was desperate. I just didn't talk to person. I just talked to her. I just relate with her. Next thing she's asking me, is this a relationship?
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say now. There's a difference with someone that's just talking to you and someone that has shown you affection. Like, you guys have been dating, going out, doing all the love up stuff, doing all the feeling all the butterflies and all that, and having emotions for each other. That's to say, that is another level. But you know that one in quotes, I just talked to her, it definitely means there were signs that this person was not going your direction.
But well, you can have someone giving you all the green lights, but they have not named what the green light is for. Like you can have someone close mark you, take you out, like you said, do all the sweet things that a boyfriend is supposed to be doing.
I hope you understand my
Yeah,
point.
absolutely.
My point is, there are persons that definitely the lines have not crossed for you to ask us questions. Do you get my point now?
So you should
So
know.
if there's, yes, you should know when, where, and how to ask.
Yeah.
Because yes, because definitely, like you said, I just did talk to her. Definitely, you guys have not had that close marking of relationship. But there's someone that, okay, you guys have done all the loved up stuffs for a month, 2 months. Of course, you can call me desperate, but I want to know where I'm going. Because I wouldn't want to just get, I've heard of a story where the guy, after 6 years, the lady now like, the guy said, no, I see you as my sister. But they were doing, you get my point. So, and you are the one broken, you are the one at the end of that pain, you are the one feeling the pain and all that. So I feel defining exactly what that person is doing and then knowing if you actually should ask that person. Because yes, I just talk to her can never be someone you should ask, where are we going? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Someone just, hey, can we have a drink? Yeah, can we go? And because you've gone out on dates for 2-3 times, you assume the person is in a relationship with you. No. You have to, first of all, read the body languages. You know, you guys have had enough conversations to assume that you are in a relationship. Sometimes you get intimate for a few times, you understand? So you, by your own self, assume you are in a relationship. And by this time, because of the stuffs you have done together, and you've assumed that you are in a relationship, giving a window period of about 2-3 weeks and you haven't heard anything, it is pertinent for you to ask. Especially for a grown-up lady, especially for someone who has a direction where you want to go. There are some people that have already set out standards of stuff they want to do for themselves and how they want to get there. So you wouldn't want someone to hold you back. You wouldn't want to be held behind. So you need to ask these questions. But then you have to note when to ask and who to ask these questions.
When to ask and who to ask. You were talking about timing, that the timing has to be right. Then when we even talk about defining relationship, what are the steps to take in defining relationship? If you were to define a relationship, what would you do legit?
Okay, when we talk about relationship, there must be a connection to start with. You cannot say you're in a relationship with someone you are not connected to. There must be a connection. There must be identification. You must be identified with that person over time. Okay, for you to say you are in a relationship with somebody. You cannot just wake up because maybe the person is just an acquaintance and you think, I'm in a relationship. No, it's not done that way. You must be identified with that person. There must be communication. Okay, at some point you got to know what this person stands for. Okay, before you can say you are in a relationship with somebody. And then while you are in a relationship with this person, defining it has to do with communication. Okay, you got to sit the person down and dialogue. Define the relationship, like, where are we going? What are your plans for tomorrow? What is your expectation for the future? Commitment has to do with the future, not the now. Is the future. What is the future plans? Okay, that is how to define a relationship.
So you need to talk about what the future holds for, find out. And then again, relationship goals. Like every relationship should have a goal. I feel like as an individual, I have goals in my mind for my relationship. So whoever I get with, I'm going to communicate to you that this and this are my expectations for a relationship. When I have a family, these are the kinds of things I want to see. Are these your dreams also? But let me ask you something, Ediami. What have you ever been in a situation where you were canopied by a guy for so long and then you pushed to define the relationship and it fell apart?
Well, I wouldn't say, because like I said, I'm this kind of person. First of all, I have to look at you. I can't come and ask you questions. Like, I've been with someone I literally knew that this is not working. I can't definitely ask you that questions. But it turned out eventually that when we had a conversation some time later, and the person was like, I really wanted to be committed. I was like, what? I would have loved to be committed. I said, no, you don't look like it. But actually, he now laughed and like, well, I have phobia for women and kind of stuff. I said, I know, I felt it.
So you understudied the person
Yes.
very well.
You get my point now.
So, but don't you feel like we can lose out, you know, people, both men and women, and don't you feel like we can lose out on relationship opportunities without asking? Because in the first place, I think we must all agree that a relationship will work if it is going to work, or it's going to fail if it's going to fail, whether or not you ask that question or not.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. You understand what I'm saying? So you see, maturity, when we're talking about maturity in relationship definition, is when you get to someone that is mature and ready for commitment, my darling, you don't even need to spell the words. Because from your first conversations, I feel that's maybe basically from my own experiences, from your first conversations, it takes you to that point, like that direction, that you're actually in your mind like, this looks too fast. Or you guys are probably talking about some things that looks like the future. Do you understand? You see someone who's willing to let you know most of their friends, tell you things about their background, that person is already heading the commitment way. Do you understand what I'm saying? Except if the person finds out some stuff that they cannot cope in the future, but you will see definitely from the onset, someone who is willing to commit to you. Yes, I want to ask those questions, but I can't just ask anybody who I'm on a date with. I have to really understudy you. I have to really know, oh, is this the kind of person I want to go with? But from my conversations with you on our first and second, third dates, I should be able to tell this guy, he has some stuffs that, you know, I might really not be able to deal with. He has some stuffs and I don't think this person is going my way, but I like this person. I need to really still push forward, you know. So that's why you get to see a lot of people who, they know from the onset. Like I met one guy, he was crying. I said, guy, why are you crying? He said, there's this girl, she broke my heart. I said, I know that you know that girl was not going to date you for a long time. The guy smiled. I said, yes, because there's someone actually that you know you can date for a longer time, but you don't have that feeling for that person. You kind of don't like that person. You kind of don't care about that person as much as you care about this person. And this person looks you in a different light. So you're going to push for, because this is what your heart wants, but this is not what is right for you. So you're going to push forward and hope that it comes. So understudy a person and know when to ask, when to get close to this person, or you understand what I'm saying. So, but I don't really think I have, going back to the question, I don't really think I've been in that situation, because as God will have it, I always meet people who goes the same direction as I. Yeah.
Is there safety? What are the safeties in defining a relationship? And I think it was last week on Connect that, you know, our guest was also saying that even in female to female relationship, male to male, where you're becoming my friend, we need to define what is this relationship about. Is it strictly business? Is it, you know, strictly ministry? Is it just that we are colleagues at work? We need to be able to define it. So what are the kinds of safety that we find within the boundary of defining our relationships?
I would say the paramount thing is saving yourself from stress, because staying in a toxic relationship or any relationship that doesn't have destination is stress. So once you define the relationship and you know whether it's working out, whether there is future for it, and then or not, what you do, you move on.
What you do, you move on. Okay. So we are talking safety, mental safety.
What could be mental, it could be financial, because you are really gonna put in your
investing.
You invest in a relationship. Every relationship needs commitment, and this commitment has to do with all your resources, both psychological, both material, both financial, and all that. So both emotional. The emotional part is even the worst, because you will not have yourself. Once you are heartbroken, there are things that are supposed to do that you will not even want to do anymore. Some people are like that. They will have to, you know, take time to heal before they can move on with one thing.
And they'll be stagnated.
Yes.
You see a lot of people from a broken relationship, they stay for years, they can't get back. They tend to be crawling back to their feet. But what is actually very, very safe to define relationship, whether female, even mother to child. You understand? Parenting. You understand? You see parents fall out with children. You see siblings fall out. There's no cordial relationship. The guardian didn't really guard them well from the beginning. So you see, the safety of defining relationships, like she said, emotionally, financially, psychologically, the trauma. Once you define relationships, you are able to define it. You are able to know that you are in a safe place.
We are trying to save ourselves from, you know, carrying on all those relationship baggages.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, I think at the end of the day, some people have been hurt one too many times that they do not want to try relationships. So that brings us to our next conversation, commitment phobia. And we know that this is biggest on the part of guys. You will see a guy that apparently loves a lady, hangs around her, gives her all those green colors, takes her out, does all the nice things. Oga, open mouth and talk now, wahala you have bust. You know, those kinds of issues. So what do you think is the primary, now we are speaking as women that observe men, you know, what are those reasons that you think men have phobia for committing? Like, it looks like an average man in our generation is dragging his feet
to enter into, like, literally. You know, we talked about the question you asked me now. I said, we later had a conversation and the person said, I would have loved to be committed. You get?
Yeah.
So, but I already felt it. This person was damaged.
Hey, damaged goods.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Not that he was damaged like physically. He was mentally, psychologically damaged. Apparently, you see some people from the background they come from, they've already known, they grew up to know that there's nothing like love in existence. You understand? There's nothing like, so they know, there are people that actually know that once they need sex, they have to pay for it. They grew up to know like that. You understand what I'm saying? So they're afraid of moving forward into anything commitment. They are scared because, one, the background they came from. Two is their experiences. I think experiences with other people. You can see divorce. One of the reasons why most people don't want to venture into relationships again. You can see broken relationships where you have someone who maybe defrauded you and all stuffs because you felt you had given yourself and you felt this person was actually where you wanted to be, was your safe haven. At the end of the day, the person, you know, got you devastated. So those kind of people, the background they came from, maybe sometimes the experiences they've had in the time past, maybe like a married person, maybe someone from a committed relationship in the past, and all that, it could be a factor as to why people are afraid of commitment.
Afraid of committing. That's so serious because I think we just lose out on some of the best opportunities because we didn't just step out. So you're taking this commitment risk, yeah?
Not really. For me, I think the word there is readiness. 90% of men are not ready.
Come on now. I love this statistics. In this house, it's only 10.
They are not ready. You will see a man who is up to the age of settling down, who want to play around. Searching.
But I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you in. That is the commitment, and this is something that causes this commitment. This is the phobia.
Yeah,
these are the phobias. It's something that took, just like you know, there are some routes you wouldn't want to take because you were robbed.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So there are some men who are everly ready, talking about age, talking about financially, talking about emotionally, talking about stability, but the phobia of what comes out of that relationship scares them to death.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
okay, when
just
you talk about phobia is fear, right?
Yes.
exactly.
Okay, but no matter how fearful you are, you cannot fear who you are. Before you can see a good thing in some other person, you have to examine yourself. Are you good? So if you see someone who is good, you will know. There is no man who will see a lady who is good that will not know.
I bet
So most of them,
I think most people, I wouldn't want to say your statistics here, might just be on your own part. I beg to differ, sorry. Because most people have a challenge to commitment. As a matter of fact, most men.
Yeah, but that's like the 90% statistics.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
No, the 90% has nothing to do about people who aren't ready.
But don't you think that unreadiness plays a big part to, you know,
It's phobia that causes unreadiness. It's your anxiety.
You're
Another word for
afraid.
phobia, you're afraid.
You're afraid to commit.
You're going to always have to postpone this journey. I wanted to travel tomorrow, but I'm scared. I have phobia for road trips. I can't make this trip. I need to wait until I have money that I can fly. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing with relationship. I really want to get married, but my mom was battered by my dad. And most times they feel because of the psychological trauma they've gotten, they always tend to meet people who coincidentally have those little traits that has to do with what they have experienced. Yes. So most of the time, I think, in my opinion, is a psychological challenge that most men don't want to accept that is a psychological challenge.
Okay, but then let's also look at the case of getting ready, for men, because it's going to take us to the next part of our conversation. But then just finish your line of thought, because men getting ready is another problem. We are of the school of thought that we have more women ready and willing to get married than we have men who are ready and willing to get married. So I'd just like for you to complete that trend of thought.
Okay, I was talking about readiness. When you talk about fear, fear is one thing, but readiness is another.
Okay, so break it down.
What if you were not fearful about getting married?
Would you have gotten married?
Would you have gotten married? So it comes to readiness. When I talk about readiness, not just the financial part of it. It could be psychological, like you said. I'm not just ready to take all the strays of children. I'm not ready for, staying with one woman in the same house for all my life. I'm not ready to take responsibilities. Men always shy away from responsibilities. That's one of the things that makes a man to say, I don't want to take too much responsibility.
Not all men, though.
Not all men. Most men.
Shy away from responsibility. Yeah. This conversation is going to get to where side, because I like where it's going. I like when, one person says, oh, this is what I think, and then the other person's like, oh, no, I don't think so. That's how we trash out these issues. But we need to take a very quick break. And when we return, the conversation on the table will definitely continue on Connect. Stay with us.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai and Yekan on Connect
every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m.
on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories, and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Connect, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. You can see the broad smile on my face. Of course, we're talking family life, we're talking love, we're talking navigating these very murky waters of relationships in the 21st century. And I have been joined with some of the very delectable people that we have in our city, and around that climate of relationships, talking, looking at how to create boundaries, define relationships, and commitment phobia. He nearly broke the table before we went on the break. So if you're just joining us, you need to get on our social media platforms to catch up on some of the things we've already talked about on the show. But there is a second trending video of the week that we want to take. Let's take that particular video, and then when we return, we'll delve right into the rest of the conversation for this evening.
I don't know why a man should be above 23, 24 and not be married. I'm serious. I'm serious. 24 is too young. So I don't know why a man should be above 23, 24 and not be married. I'm serious. I'm serious. 24 is too young. Your mate in Animal Kingdom has grandchildren. Your mate in Animal Kingdom already has grandchildren. Your mate in developed countries, by 18, they leave their parents' house. That exposes them to responsibility quick. But in Nigeria, it can be 28. You are still sucking your mother's breast. At 28 in Nigeria. They are still sending you a message. Go and buy biscuits. Go and buy milk. Go and buy sugar. They are still running you around. You're running around. You can't lie long. Go and buy bread at your age. But your mate in Silicon Valley, at 18, 19, they are already billionaires. They are developing things that are changing the world. But I see carrying line to go and buy bread at the junction. With your short knicker.
Session. This is a very, very serious conversation. A strong issue.
Give me that
of course,
scripture.
as expected, netizens went on the internet and they have been dragging Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo like his life depends on it. You know, there are several kinds of reactions to it, but I'll just take your reaction to that video first of all before we go to social media reactions. He says a man at 23, 24 should be ready to be married. And when we read the social media reactions, we will see what happens. But then, let me start with you. What's your reaction with that?
Well, for me, I don't think a man at 24 is ready to settle down. Okay.
What are the terms and conditions that affected that?
Well, people will say it's not about age, maturity is not by age, but definitely, the more you grow, the more you understand what life is all about. And especially when it comes to marital affairs, you need to be matured in experience, because most times when you are more experienced in whatever you're doing, you'll be able, you know, to solve some puzzles that comes with it. Okay, so for me, I believe a man should be more matured.
When you say mature, what age bracket are you going to?
From the age of, let's say, 30 upward.
You people are the people contributing to our issues. All right. Etienne, please, let me get your reaction.
Thank you very much for having me once again. Man, like, how can you see 30?
How can you wait
like,
till
it's
30?
Scary. Like, it's scary. But for me, I want to be on a 50-50 with what Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo said. On the other aspects, you know, a man that is 24, 23, that is ready, using the word that he said. Now, when I mean ready psychologically, you know, there are people that are groomed. There are people that are groomed to exactly what they want to be. I want to know, how did you come to the fact or to the realization that, okay, by 24, I want to have some amount in my account? It was the readiness, the preparedness.
To do that for yourself financially.
Yes, financially. So you can as well break that bounds in another form. Like if you want to get married, you understand? I've known of people who are still married, they got married. If I'm allowed, I can just mention a few in our city here. They got married 25, 26. They're still married. It's about the preparedness. You understand? Yeah. Why I said 50-50 is because I wanted to say if it was to be a lady, I would have, okay, yeah, you understand? But on the side of a man, I think it should go like 27, 26. You understand what I'm saying? Taking time to prepare.
Is there something that is informing that, you know, thought of, okay, let's push it a little bit to 26, 27? Because there are things, modalities on ground.
Yeah, there are modalities. Now, most people you tend to see that are married at the age of 24. There's sometimes people that have parents are maybe financially buoyant. You understand? Circumstances could lead to them getting married early in life.
So our economy is part of the reason why people don't marry at early.
You understand? So you got to prepare yourself from a certain age in our nation. Like it's 18 years, you're an adult. I used to tell somebody, I'm telling my kids, so once you're 23, you're supposed to start giving me money. You understand what I'm saying? I'm preparing their mind. They already know that they have to leave school early. You understand? So my own work is to work towards making all those stuffs available for them. Do you understand? I make sure the stuffs you need to arrive at 23 is available. That's my work. But your work is also make me proud at that age. So if I desire, okay, I really want to be a mother, a grandmother at the age of 45, and you are my child at 24, and I had prepared every ground, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't get married.
So it's not like Pastor Kingsley is really saying something that is, you know, out of the normal.
No.
I think we should also fall back on history for a little bit. Most of our grandparents, I know for sure my grandmother was married between 13 and 14 as a woman, you know, and then it would take their husbands up to like maybe they were 19, they
21,
were 20,
you know.
21. So what is the reaction with 21st century when we hear let men get married between 24 and 25 and everybody starts screaming like you're saying something that is harsh? Western economies, most developed nations, we find that people already have families. You see 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds, you know, rushing to marry. I know we are going to try to drop the statistics on divorce on the table, but then we are quick to do that because we also do not take the time to bring out the statistics of people that are succeeding. Cheers, and so that's a problem. Let's take some social media reactions, to this Pastor Kingsley's marry at 23, marry at 24 issues. But let's know that Nigeria is what is happening to most of us. So this is Jesu Lobby. He said, the man will feed his family and extended family with air and water, pay bills with imagination, take care of his kids by listening to these kinds of sermons. Okay. Another reaction here, Toby Loba says, to those of you attacking him, it's obvious the situation of the country has restricted your brain. In developed nations, at 24, you are already working and in your apartment. You're already mature mentally. There is nothing bad if a 24-year-old man is married, except he has not really found his soulmate. And then he says a big one. He says Tupac at the age of 24. Tupac died at the age of 24. Imagine his level of maturity when he was alive. So, of course, we're also talking about maturity level here. GTB said that's how these clergymen pass wrong information and mislead the youth. Y'all just preach love and, preach the gospel. Well, if you feel your pastor is doing you wrong. So, Incredible MC wrote, but I agree with the part where one should leave his parents early. It helps one become responsible and think up ways to make it. About marriage, when you stand well, marriage will happen. So it depends on when you decide.
Exactly what I said.
Your morning is anytime you wake up. I think we have a balance like that in Nigeria. And I think there was one more. Can we take two more? We can take two more and then close it there. Edim David said, this is so wrong. Stop putting unnecessary pressure on people. This is why people marry wrongly. But nobody's pressurizing you. They just said, marry.
But who is pressurizing them to go and buy cryptos?
Woo! Who's pressurizing you to make money?
Who's pressurizing you to make money? The truth is, once you have arrived, when I mean arrived, you feel you are settled. You understand? If you are settled at the age of 24, you feel that you have money to actually take care of your immediate bills and your responsibilities. And look at it. The fact is that, like you said, Nigeria is the thing that has happened to us, my darling. Because a lot of people have so much queue that they have to take care of. And they tend to want to take care of all the problems in their family before they think of starting their own family. And which is why they have this mentality, no, I'm not ready to get married because I have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
So how about people who are from families, they don't have people they have to feed. They just have to feed themselves. And they're financially okay. They're working.
And they found the person that
they want to get married to. Why? Why won't they?
Let's take this very last one, because I think this one also, Mayor said, age doesn't determine when someone should get married. It's a personal choice and timeline for this economy. So we're also looking at the fact that the economy is majorly informing what our decisions are. And let's not say that 24-year-olds and 25-year-olds, some of them, you are saying something, Adia. Most of these people are CEOs of corporations that are working. Why do we have under 30 forms? Why are people working so hard to be on those forms? But then you're saying I think another problem is that when they call us out on truths that don't settle well with our generation, we start ranting. You want to react?
So you want to say something? Definitely, if I want to be realistic. We've been talking about men. What about the ladies? What about the women? Because women are also contributing to the reasons that men don't want to settle down early.
Come on now.
Because when you want to talk about history, we talk about our parents, their time, the women there were very, very humble. They were ready.
They were groomed for family life. Because I don't think it's humility.
I don't know what you mean.
I think it's grooming for family life.
I don't understand what you mean.
In terms of humbling to be a wife. It's one thing to be married. It's another thing to be a wife. Women of this generation are not like that.
We women of this generation.
Yes. We are not like that. We want to
like that, Sha.
We want to rule. We want to be the one talking. We want to be the one leading. And these men are not ready to become the wife rather than being the husband.
So that's an anomaly.
Yes, so I think it's one of the major reasons.
So we're seeing a lot of misplaced.
Sorry, please. I'd like to ask her. Sorry, because you want to tell me that a guy that is 24, 25, ready to get married to a 19-year-old, the lady's going to rule at 24?
Oh my goodness.
I don't get. You understand? Because when you say they are raised to, except if at this point when you are saying, You're saying, okay, this at 19, she already owned a very big company and wasn't ready to settle down.
So does this question take us to the influence of our parents on our readiness?
Exactly what I
married?
said. I said I prepared
So
my.
I also think that the
the
older
world-
generation has a place to play.
Yes.
The world is more digital. Even children in nursery school now, they are exposed to many things because of social media, and that makes them to misbehave.
Why are they exposed to so many things? What are the parents doing?
Because
That
of
is
the
the upbringing
age.
we're talking
This is
about.
This conversation will definitely not finish, but I like when conversations hang so that we can always have it again. But there's so many things to look at. Should a man be married at 23, 24? Get into the comment section on social media. Write us at Spectrum T Online. Let's get your thoughts on this. These are really pertinent issues. But we must agree as a generation that we are getting married way older than necessary, because there are certain factors in humanity also that abhors the vacuums that we are creating. So apart from kicking, let us look at what the problems are and try to solve them. We'll do a quick one and take our quotes for the day. Commitment is what we're talking about today, and one of our quotes here by A.R. Rahman says, when you do something with a lot of honesty, appetite and commitment, the input reflects in the output. The conversations we just had. We also see here, without commitment, you cannot have depth in anything. Without commitment, you cannot have depth in anything. Our very last quote for Connect today will be, true love is not just sacrifice. It's about always finding the perfect person, the perfect reason, I beg your pardon, to sacrifice anything for one another's happiness. It's consistent selflessness. Of course, these are some of the strongest quotes that we are leaving you with tonight. But I want to say a big thank you to my guests for coming on the show. I wish we could drag it on to like another 1 hour, but the time is already flagging. Let's go, let's go. A big thank you to you, Ediami Ede. Thank you for coming. Serial
Really
entrepreneur
nice to
and
be
content
here.
creator. Thank you for coming. Also, thank you very much, Saint Morgan. Your name is like Saint Obi, but the female, Saint Morgan. Thank you so much for coming, on the show today. It was such a great delight speaking with my female guest today. Of course, the men, you can come in and take your space on the table and defend yourself why you are not ready to get married. But that's where we're going to be calling it a wrap on tonight's edition of Connect. Until when we see you next week, Wednesday, my name remains Uyai Anyeka. Thanks for watching, and we'll enjoy the rest of your evening.